there's definitely something about it's never good enough, or I'm not good enough, and literally in the body I'm not good enough. The amount of plastic surgery on men and women, but especially women, you know, how many breast changes and vagina changes happen. It's like, I mean, it blows my mind. Also very many young girls. And that's very sad. I think it's very sad. And also around, you know, the use of porno. And I remember, you know, I grew up in Amsterdam, and I remember, I think a little bit over 30 years, they had the first porno movies you could see on television. I remember watching them, you know, getting excited about it. But then for me, after seeing a few, it's boring to me. And but I know many people use movies to get excited, and then they make love. And of course that's an entrance, but it has nothing to do with lovemaking. It's just about how excited can I get and how can I get an orgasm. But that's how we're trained. You need to get excited. You only go to bed to have sex. That I find also such a strange word, to have sex, instead of to make love. And so we get trained in that way. A lot of men are trained in that way by porno. And now you have also porna, that is women filming, and it's more women's stories. So it's a little softer, but still, it's still put in a certain form, what it's supposed to look like and be like and feel like. And in awake lovemaking, you step in the unknown, because you don't know how it's going to feel like. You don't know where we're going to go together. We go together in the unknown. And it's not something you learn in a workshop, a weekend workshop. It's a process, in a way, for the rest of your life and unfolding. And it's really, the more, as I said before, it's the more and more I rest as that love. The more and more my partner rests as that love, the more and more we can meet as that love. And what starts happening when the two bodies come together, you know, when touch starts happening, and first very gentle, because you become, the more quiet you become, the more aware you come of touch, the more sensitive, and the more closely it listens to be very gentle, to be very aware and awake in the touch. But the beauty in that, in my experience, is you become, each of you become one big sense organ where the story is taken off. And if there's still some story, that will emote itself, that will come out, and then that will flow. And then there's more sensation and more resting together. So in a way, the coming together of seemingly two people, but two bodies, the bodies start making love. And then they start move as one. It's not two bodies anymore. And when the bodies start making love, it's also, how can I explain this? Now, when a man and a woman come together, when at a certain point the lingam, the wand of light, or the penis, whatever you want to call it, and the vagina or yoni, sacred space, when they kind of fall into each other, and then holding still when they are into each other, then the wisdom of the yoni and the lingam, of the vagina and the penis, they start making love. It's not me thinking, oh, now I should do this, now I should do that, oh, this movement is nice. That's just out the window. The body, you don't need to think about anything anymore. There's nothing to do. Literally, there's nothing to do. It's just resting. And the more I rest, the more my partner rests, if I am with a man, in himself, the more we move as this one. And then you want to make love forever. And then even when so-called the bodies separate and you're still together in the home, you're still in a way making love. But it takes tremendous courage to step in the unknown and the courage to slow down. And again, we're not trained that way. So in the beginning, you really need to make a commitment. It's like, okay, do you want to do this? Do I want to do this? We make a commitment. We're going to do this. We're going to play with this for the next, let's say, half year. Or if that's too long, for the next 3 weeks. We just set dates. We don't wait till we feel like making love. We just set dates. Same like when I go to the gym, I just know when I go to the gym. And, or when I go to my work or go and have tea with somebody. I just set a date with my partner to make love. And then you come together and then you just see what wants to happen. You know, you make the space very beautiful together. Just make a sacred space and you take time. You just take time. And then when you take time, then, you know, the body takes space and you connect. And there's just joy already, making love already, just looking into each other's eyes, and breathing and taking each other in. But awake lovemaking starts with resting as awareness. And then waiting, it's kind of like a waiting till awareness wants to move. And it's a surprise every time. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that's the most fun there is, I think. And that same making of love will be everywhere in your life. Here is just more focus on the physical, you know, pure physical lovemaking. But in a way, everything is the making of love. And I just got reminded of a funny story. Many years ago, I don't know, 8 years ago, during a retreat with Adyashanti, I was busy. Of course, I've been busy with this for so long, and had my own attachments to pleasure and pain and just everything. And I remember during one retreat asking him a question. I can't even remember exactly the question, but something about Tantra and lovemaking. and he kind of chopped my head off and he said, you know, everything is the making of love. Even eating Fruit Loops is the making of love. I'd never heard of Fruit Loops. I didn't know what Fruit Loops was. But in my mind I had like, okay, well the next time I go to the supermarket I'm going to find out what that is. And I knew he was right. You know, I knew he was right in that moment. And I knew I had not realized the Fruit Loop realization, so to speak. And because I was pretty attached to lovemaking and pleasure and also bringing this resting in there, but it was definitely not there. And I remember at some point, you know, it freed up. I really came free. And actually at the end, it's kind of a funny story, at the end of that retreat we had a closing circle. And then somebody explained what Fruit Loops were. I don't know if you know what it is. That is the most disgusting cereal, you know, that's really, really sugar, full of sugar. So I remember saying to him some years after that, like, well, I guess I had my Fruit Loop realization. He gave me some Fruit Loops and a Fruit Loop plate. It was kind of sweet. But the reason I say this is because it's so deeply ingrained in all of us that we want pleasure, we don't want pain. And with that, we all really attach to pain without really wanting it. And we attach to pleasure. In awake lovemaking, it's not being attached particularly to anything, even though when there's attachment, that is there also, to fully receive that. Like, oh, you know, I come together with my partner and I just know, you know, in our together I can feel that, oh, there is actually attachment. I hope I will have pleasure today. And then you just say it. You don't have to do anything with it. It's mentioned, and when it's on the table, it has a place, and then it can rest, and then more and more you can rest as awareness. And oh yeah, but why I wanted to say that about the Fruit Loop thing is that there came the realization deeply as an experience within, not something that I had read. Like, all is the making of love. everything is the making of love. You know, we all have our own words for it. This is my word. And that's resting as awareness, and seeing how awareness, how this love, how this beauty that we all are, wants to move. Not because we think it needs to move. It doesn't need this. And it's like full embodied. It's a movement. It's spontaneous movement. And we all have experiences of spontaneous movement. It's just like it starts growing on us. And in awake lovemaking, you can play with it. It's another way of just playing with how to what extent is this love, has this been realized here, and is it being lived, and how much can I bring that into life with my partner, but in a way also with my boss or my friends. It's not necessarily physical, but it's still that one movement, that one taste, that resting as one. So it's a combination of no one is here and all is here. It's everything and nothing that's moving as that one in the body.